Yeah, baby.
Bro,
Let's go, bro. Come on, let's talk, man, because this is an emergency, bro. Miz and Bubba, like, as soon as we won that game, bro, it was an emergency. It was an emergency.
Bro.
Bro, what was that? Big up everybody inside the building.
Bring the gang together, bro. Emergency, bro. Something mad has happened. We need an emergency.
Positive emergency for the first time. It's a positive emergency.
You know, we can't just be doing these things when we are getting walloped. We need to come together when we are rising, and that for me was a complete package. A complete package from minute 1 to minute 90th, plus all the added on times. Total domination. Like total domination of a football club. It was so wonderful to see. So good to see.
Oh, brothers. Bubba, how are you feeling? How are you doing before we get into everything, man? What a day.
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Like, if you look at it the way we've scored 13 goals in last 3 games at the Bridge and kept clean sheets in all of those 3 games, it's mad. Like, it's unheard of. Like, we have seen this season already. 3-4 games we'll play well, then we'll get that setback. But this time it feels different somehow. I don't know why. Like, this time the tactics are on point. It's not just individual performances. The players don't look selfish inside the final third. I was so happy to see Mudryk and Jackson linking up together, trying to find each other in every possible opportunity. So that like the goal, the 4th goal in which Mudryk like put it on a plate for Jackson. It brought tears to my eyes, bro. Like, only 2-3 weeks ago these people were fighting for a penalty, and now they are assisting each other, trying to do it for the team. And I'm quite happy. Like, the manager knows what he's doing. The players are playing with each other. There's no individualism anymore. And to be fair, Palmer was good, scored a goal also, but it was not like it was only him who was the standout player. Everyone is stepping up, and it's not like we are dependent on only him. Be it this game or the Spurs game. So the signs are quite positive. I'm buzzing, bro.
Bro, do you know what it was? That goal is specifically that you mentioned with Mudryk and passing to Jackson. Like, that is like the tipping point between, like you said, what we've been experiencing previously that's been making us so annoyed. It's not just been the fact that this team has not been performing in terms of the level we required. There's been a lot of selfishness this season, like in terms of the 3v1s, the 2v1s, the penalty incident. And it's not as a fan who just wants everyone to play well, everyone to be part of a successful team. You got people pulling away in different directions for their own, their own tallies that they're trying to accumulate to, or whatever. Jackson wants his 15 goals, etc. It's quite annoying. So to see in the last couple of games unity, like actual and we've seen unity before, but in these performances, tracking back as well, the wingers, and then obviously in terms of the performance, the system, it was literally what people have been asking for from other managers. Like, it's the box midfield is very De Zerbi, the actual formation and the actual tucking in of the fullback, and even profile wise, I said it on my review, is very Arteta from last year in terms of Jesus versus Jackson, in terms of Martinelli playing in Mudryk's position. So it was a really, really good performance. Like, system and clinical quality came together, and it actually looked brilliant. It looked brilliant. The question will become, obviously, later on in the show, like, how did we get to this point, and what was the catalyst for us getting this switch so sudden, because we haven't seen it all season. I don't know if I keep bringing it up, but I don't know if you guys remember against Newcastle in preseason, Cucurella did play in midfield. So it's not something we haven't seen this before, but do you know what? I'm actually going to start with Cobham, because Gallagher and Chalobah, these two are apparently, according to Ben Jacobs, they're still up for sale. Now, you know me, at the start of the season, I was willing to take, I don't know, 50 million for Gallagher, because for me, he wasn't a key player. He had a poor season last year, didn't rate him very highly, and it's 50 million for a squaddie. I'll take that. But I'm not gonna lie, bro. These performances this season, the improvement that he's had. I'm not saying he should be a starter like every week, but if he keeps playing in this way, it feels a bit unfair. It feels very unfair, actually, that he would just be sold off. We've seen worse get new contracts, bro. This guy really he's putting it together right now. He really is.
I said it yesterday, he's starting to play like the midfielder I want him to play like. He's actually demanding the ball. There was times where Gallagher would actually ghost away. He wouldn't. Now he's going here, like he's going, come, like put it. Like this guy's confidence is getting better and better. And I think once again, tactically, he's not too involved in the first phase. He's more in the second and the third phase, and he's more tucked in on the left midfield side. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, what a great combination between Gallagher and Caicedo." No, the combination is actually between Caicedo and Cucurella.
Yes,
Gallagher is there to support, but it's really those two that's really holding the base of the midfield and really protecting the back three. I just want to quickly, before we come back to Gallagher, I just want to quickly say, you guys talked about the goal that really did it for you, the Madueke, the selfishness, the I suppose
the ball from Chalobah in that goal too.
Like the ball from Chalobah, of course. But what I'm trying to say is that symbolism. I think someone said in the live chat that was like a symbolism, team coming together. You know what really did for me though? That was a fantastic moment, no doubts about that. It's the first goal. I got so excited all throughout the phase, from defense to midfield to offense, and then how we just opened them up with, I think there was at least 10 to 15 passes all the way from defense to offense, where Palmer then ended up slotting that goal.
Second goal was quite similar, and that too against a low block.
Like that too against a low block. And we were so mature, so calm, so composed. It didn't look like we were rushing, we were being erratic. And it all comes down to having a structure. It all comes down to tactics. It all comes down to a strategy.
And suddenly Badiashile looks good with the structure.
Bro,
with the proper
suddenly
tactics.
everyone looks good. This is what I've been saying. It's never been... Look, there are certain individuals I'm pretty sure we'll talk about, i.e. Mudryk, for example. There are certain individuals that lack still that quality. But I've always said, and I think Matisse agreed with me as well, I'm pretty sure Baba as well, this squad's not bad. This is not a bad squad. It just requires a certain structure to get the best out of them. And now all of a sudden, everyone's starting to look good. Now, coming back to Gallagher, what Matisse was saying, bro, look, he's blowing my mind. I'm not even going to lie. He's scoring goals. He's scoring goals from outside the box with his left foot. He's scoring goals inside the box. He's taking free kick. He's taking brilliant free kicks. He's actually now leading as well. He's starting to show leadership on field. Before, it looked a bit foreign to him. That armband looked a little bit... He just didn't know what to do with it. Now he knows what to do with it. He's leading a group, and I'm very, very happy. But once again, we have to be very careful. Don't try and put Gallagher in midfield with Caicedo. That's not where he's playing. You have to watch the game. He's playing in a left midfield. Sometimes he's coming into central areas, but what his main goal is to crash into the box and mop things up and score goals. And he's obviously off the ball. Work rate is immense. Whether it's pressing from the front, whether it's intercepting. Look, for me, Gallagher, as I've always said, if Poch stays next season, which looks like he will, by the way, there's some latest news that Amorim is not going anywhere. He's made it confirmed that he's staying at Sporting. So that's now all the managers gone. De Zerbi has come out public. Yeah, no, De Zerbi publicly in the press conference prior to
some
the
people
Aston
don't
Villa
believe
game.
De Zerbi. Some people don't believe him, but yeah.
Well, that could happen as well. But
the madness that this ownership is, we'll go out and pay another 35 million to Brighton.
Do you know what it is, right? Do you know what it is? Just to add to this, right? Because I agree with you. If Poch is staying, you need to actually back the profiles that Poch needs. You can't just sell. You can't just sell the players that Poch values and then say, Poch, you're staying. That's basically like saying, oh, hands behind your back, you're under arrest, but we still expect you to fucking carry boxes. Like, it's not going to work. No. At the end of the day, he values Gallagher. And I've said this from the get-go. And that's why I was never going to get on board with any sort of propaganda that they were going to start trying to put out in the briefings of, oh, Gallagher, he's a bit difficult to negotiate with. Oh, we can't really convince him to stay. He's asking for too much money. He wants the same amount of money as this player and that player. No. Relax yourselves. If if you're gonna keep Poch, you have to keep Gallagher. You just do, because how can you expect a manager to perform and then take away one of his most important players this season? And on your point on him as well, he has visibly improved. He has visibly improved, and that's something that has to be taken into account. Like, he has visibly improved this season. Some people will say he was always like that. Cool. But in terms of Chelsea, his Chelsea career, he has visibly improved.
Not talking about wasn't always like that. Not talking
about Crystal Palace. Not talking about Crystal Palace. Talking about Chelsea from last season, visibly improved. Now,
he's so comfortable on the ball, bro. So comfortable now on the ball.
Yeah, 100%. But I agree with you. Like, the role that he's playing is very similar, and maybe a similar type of, because Xhaka was obviously a leader for Arsenal as well, but it's a similar role to where Xhaka was playing. Then your Odegaard is your Palmer. Them two guys in that box midfield at the top of the box, like we said, is very reminiscent of De Zerbi last year. And the reason why I keep bringing up De Zerbi is not because I want De Zerbi. Some people in the comments never seem to understand this. When the stream's over, why did we buy Caicedo for 115 million? It was because of the midfielder that De Zerbi, obviously Potter, but also De Zerbi at Brighton made him to be. So we need to look at how these players were playing before we bought them, and we need to try and bring the best out of them, because otherwise, why did we go to Brighton and pay that money if we weren't going to use him in the same way Brighton 100%. Used him? So that box midfield is crucial. And like I said, Cucurella, a better defensive, inverted left back than Zinchenko. It makes you wonder, well, is this why Man City wanted him in the first place? Because his performances recently, bro, have been absolutely jaw-dropping. The way that Cucurella has been playing has been such a breath of fresh air in this team. The way he's so comfortable in midfield. This brother, bro, under the most amounts of pressure, it's just like, give me the ball, pop it. Here we go.
He's here everywhere, Matisse. Like, I saw him. There was a time yesterday I saw him playing as defensive midfielder, as the deepest midfielder. There was times where he was central midfielder. There was times where he tucked in as a left back, obviously off the ball. There were times where he was a left winger. There was time where he was a right winger. He covered ground. And you know what? I'm so happy. I'm not one bit surprised, because I kid you not, when I was watching this guy at Brighton, this is the level of player I saw. And that's why I lost my mind. I was like, we need to have this guy. This guy is unbelievable. He may not be your overlapping fullback. He may not be your fullback that scores a lot of goals and assists, but he is so crucial to unlock everyone else around him. People need to understand, why is all of a sudden we are so comfortable in playing the high line? Why is all of a sudden you've got Thiago Silva in your defense, but now there's no issues about, he lacks the pace? Because it was never about the pace or this, that, the other. It's about structure. It's about structure. That's what it's all about. Previously, there was no structure in midfield, no structure in defense, and it was just chaos. Everyone started to look like a fool. Every player starting to look like a fool. All of a sudden, there's some level of structure, and every player starting to feel better. And one of the key components is Cucurella. His ability off the ball and on the ball, inverting, which is, as I said, allowing the back three to stay as compact as possible, so there's not many gaps in between them, and allowing the midfield to take control against opposition if there's any overloads or if they're getting outnumbered, which is also allowing the forwards to be free and roam around wherever they want to roam around. So Cucurella's, this whole thing about Poch utilizing Cucurella has honestly changed the dynamics of the team. And I don't understand why he waited this long. Like, I'm not really sure, because Cucurella had it in him to do this all along.
100%. People are saying about the box build-up, right, with De Zerbi. Obviously, 100% I agree. There was the two centre-backs and then the two midfielders. That was how they started the build-up. But for me, a lot of times when I was watching them last season, once they bypassed that first initial press, there was always two players waiting beyond McAllister and Caicedo as well. There was always two players waiting beyond, and that's how they continued it. And then they went wide out to Matoma or wide out to Solly March. So there was always two players in front of those two as well. But listen, besides that, bro, it's very rare with Chelsea this season, and I can't really. I think that was the best performance of the season.
100. It was a complete package.
Yeah, I don't think it's even a debate. But the way that we were, like, everybody was so confident, bro. the way that Palmer usually plays in terms of the confidence levels, in terms of like the little give and goes and the little nutmegs, that's how everybody was playing. Even Mudryk. There was a moment where Mudryk had the ball on the left-hand side and he just did a little back heel and then just received again and then popped. I was like, yeah, we're fucking up something today. I was like, yeah, we're gonna fuck up something today because and to be fair, West Ham did have their chances, and there's one person on that West Ham team that I'm gonna Kudus.
Yeah,
I'm going to exclude him from any battering here because Kudus was ridiculous. Kudus was ridiculous in all parts of the pitch. He was on the left sometimes, and he was on the right. He was in the middle. Any part of the pitch he was dribbling. He might be, along with Madueke, the two wingers in this league. That 1v1 is very difficult to see another outcome apart from them going past you. Like Madueke, we've said it time and time again. This guy 1v1 is just ridiculous. He is the 1v1 demon. I'm pretty confident in saying that. People will be saying I'm jinxing it. I'm very confident in calling Madueke the new 1v1 demon. Unless he gets injured, you need to take that into context. But without the injury, he's the 1v1 demon, bro. He can't be stopped. And he gets in a goal. He gets a goal and an assist. And what I liked about his goal is that it wasn't actually a long range curler. It wasn't an Iron Robin-esque. It was, no, I'm going to be on the back post, ready for a little header tap in. I'm going to be alert and I'm going to be concentrating. I'm going to put the ball in the back of the net because every goal counts exactly the same. Every goal. And too much before where we always trying to score the perfect goal. Now people are actually ready to walk the ball in and be in the right position at the right time and actually, take up spots, which is good.
Do you know the kind of games that I like? The kind of games that I like is where you're struggling to nominate who your man of the match is because everyone played so good. You're like, this guy was good, but so was this guy, but so was that guy. There wasn't one standout, and it felt so good that it was such a great team performance. But yeah, once again, Madueke was fantastic, man. I've been praising him a lot over the last couple of games, especially from the second half of Aston Villa onto Spurs game, and now this one. Now that's 3 back-to-back. Second half in Aston Villa, he actually took the game by the scruff of its neck. Like he took the game on his own. He felt personal about it. He was some monster in that second half, man. The way he was moving with and without the ball. And of course, against Spurs, without the ball was sensational. This match, again, without the ball. Look, I'm always impressed at what he does with the ball, no problems. But I always felt a little bit concerned what he does off the ball. He's a little bit lazy at times. But now in recent weeks, wow, he's been looking really, really good. As I said, my only gripe with Madueke, and he had another opportunity like this yesterday as well. And I told Matisse this in the last All You Can Eat Chelsea when he had that opportunity against Spurs, where he opens up his body from the right, he cuts in, opens up the body, he's about to take a shot, and he just misses that. He had the same opportunity in this game as well. He just missed it by a whisker. Once he starts hitting that shot, because the best thing about Madueke is he's not like Arjen Robben, where Arjen Robben, he's going to cut in and he's going to smash that, right? Madueke is actually, he goes to the byline as well. Even though he may not be the strongest with his right foot, he actually tries to hit the byline. But every now and then, Madueke will drift in from the right into central areas, open up his body and go for that shot with that left foot. I just want him to start hitting the target with that. Once he starts hitting the target with that shot, Madueke will be something to talk about, like proper. Once he, on a regular basis, he's hitting that, he's going to get goals and he's going to really trouble the defense as well.
And do you guys think that the smaller the squad is easier to manage? Because if it hadn't been for injuries, Cucurella inverted fullback, we would not have seen, because Chukwuemeka injured, Enzo. Now, how do you fit Enzo in this midfield is a question. The guy who was our best midfielder becomes food for thought for everyone, because now the agenda starts. When Thiago Silva was out of the team, everyone was like, okay, Thiago Silva was the problem. 5-6 games we won in all competitions, and now the same thing has started against Enzo, which I absolutely don't buy and which I don't like, to be honest. But actually the question arises, how do you fit Enzo? Because Enzo cannot do what Gallagher or Caicedo are doing on the field, and you have to play Cucurella there. Maybe you can play him as a 10, but as a 10 he has not worked out. So how do you go about it? That's a question.
It's a tactical conundrum, man. The way I think about it is, Yeah, like he'd have to, because I always try and think about from the Argentinian point of view how he's deployed there. Rodrigo de Paul for Argentina is more like that Gallagher type of a player. He does a
Yeah.
lot of the running. He does a lot of the covering. McAllister, similar to what sort of Caicedo does, but then McAllister and Enzo Fernandez, they kind of interchange who wants to be the deepest player and who wants to move forward. Yeah, there needs to be some sort of tactical adjustment. What's
Like,
going to happen?
People who are saying that Connor and Enzo are interchangeable, I disagree, because off the ball, what Connor Gallagher brings is absolutely
Enzo can't do that.
Enzo can't do that, and on the ball, what Enzo can do, Gallagher can't do that, because for what we like Gallagher for, the truth is he has limited technical ability when it comes to doing something with the ball. Like for example, last night only when he had a chance, he was kind of through on goal, and he was in a 2v1 situation, and he didn't really know what to do there. Like go for a shot, beat the man, pass it to his teammate. So that is somewhere I think Enzo might take better decisions. But again, to be in that situation, you need the work rate and the defensive. What do you call the defensive tenacity of Gallagher, which Enzo does not have right now, to be honest, because he does not have that energy, and he's not that profile of a player. The profile is very different, Enzo and Gallagher. So role might be the same, but the profile of the players, the individuals, is different. So that might not work.
The only thing I'm thinking, the only way you can sort of allow for Enzo, and this is just thinking off the top of my head, is you might have to sacrifice, for instance, in this situation, a Buddy Ashil, and you put Cucurella there, and Cucurella does exactly what he does now. So instead of a back three, what happens in my mind, I'm thinking it becomes a back two, and Cucurella just shifts into midfield, and then he shifts out as a LCB, and then you can put another body in midfield with Enzo. Do you know what I mean? So you take away a Buddy Ashil, you put a Cucurella there, and then all of a sudden now you can put someone else in midfield. Do you know what I mean? So
that would
and then
make
Cucurella
us very
LCB.
very vulnerable to crosses and to counter.
Yeah, then we lose height. Because right now you have
that's
tall
massive
CBs. So that I think this is why Poch talks about balance. He talks about now you start to understand why he was probably trying to utilize Levi Colwill as a left back. Even though I don't agree, I still don't agree. But he needs height. You can't just take away a particular defender, put Cucurella there, who is he's decent, in defense when it comes to crosses and whatnot. But you lose height. Soon the opposition is going to pepper you with crosses after crosses after crosses. So yeah, we'll see, man.
Well, like we said, I mean, this system is reminiscent of what we've seen elsewhere. So I actually was going to go through the injured players that we have right now and who actually can fit into this type of system. Colwill, I got the first one up. I think easy. Just him and Buddy Ashil in that position. I mean, it's perfect for Colwill. I'm pretty sure he played that position at Brighton
100%.
At times. Christopher Nkunku is a tough one.
He's another issue, Matisse. He's another issue.
Where would he fit? If we was to, because we want to win games, right? That's all we want to do.
Correct.
We just want to win games.
Not here to stand.
We're just here to win games and win trophies, right? So if this is the system that works for us, and we're keeping this system, and I'm not just talking about this season, I'm saying next season, say we win the last 5 games in a row, 3 left, I know. I think people in the review were saying this, but I'm including the last 2 games in the 5. So it would be 5 wins in a row. God forbid it's 5 clean sheets in a row. I don't even know what I'd do.
Juice, bro. Juice.
If that's the run, if we go on that run, which is, listen, I never even thought it would be possible, because the way we were playing previously before the Tottenham game, or was it before the Villa game?
No, it was before the Villa game. Before the Villa game.
Yeah, before the Villa game. If you tell me we're winning 5 games in a row, I'm shutting you down immediately, because we can't defend. We're messy. We're too messy. We're too erratic, which we have been all season. It's only since the second half against Aston Villa, where we changed system, have we now started to calm ourselves down and look actually solid as a unit in terms of defense versus attack. If we were to keep this system, and obviously players have to be fit for this, but and we were to win the next 3 games of the season, doesn't matter where we finish, forget that. We'll talk about that after. But that would mean that we would beat Brighton, Bournemouth, and Nottingham Forest, which is doable. It's doable.
100.
We would probably, as a fan base, want to see the same system next season, especially if Poch is staying, right? We wouldn't want Poch to now change it up again. Like, you've just found a winning formula. It took you a very long time, but you just found a winning formula. Stick with it. So let's see. So what players actually? So Nkunku, I don't know where Nkunku fits in that.
To begin with, Matisse, we already have too many players. We will have to willingly or unwillingly let go of 4 to 5 players. It is not possible to have a sustainable system when you have so many players who are of different profiles.
Don't forget, Baba, next season, if Matisse, what Matisse is saying, if we do finish all the matches and win, we could potentially make Europa League. So you will have a lot more matches to play next season.
Yeah, that I agree with. But if we are looking to build a particular system, and believe me, these owners will sell a couple of players and might be from academy as well. And when we talk about midfield, we are forgetting about Romeo Lavia. There is another 55 million player at our disposal, and who was supposed to be a rotation for Caicedo and Enzo in that pivot. So, and potentially we were not even rating Gallagher in the initial part of the season, and we thought that Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo would be our midfield 3.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of questions that needs to be answered, and I think like for what we are like loving Gallagher for and Chalobah, like I'm pretty sure they would be sold. I don't want them to be sold because that would set a wrong example, a wrong precedent, that even it does not matter even how hard you try.
And you captain the club.
If you captain the club, you play consistently well. The credit I want to give to Gallagher is for being available. He is one of the most available players in our season. Like, he has been out very less due to injuries, and he was more often than not always available for selection. And this season, I would rate that as a trait. To him and Disasi, I would give that to them. That both 100%. Of them were available. Yeah, because availability is an ability, in my opinion, this season, how the season has gone for us so far. So I think these owners will sell at least 2 to 3 players. I don't know the players that we want out will be gone. I don't think so. Because Ben Chilwell, I personally feel, I've already stated that I think he does not feature in my plans. Like my plan, I'm saying as if I'm the manager, but I feel that Chilwell is not the same player he was in that Champions League run. So I think we've given him enough chances. He needs to go. Sterling, I don't see how he fits in with all the forwards being there. But these players won't be sold. Players would be sold would be Martson, Chalobah, Gallagher. You would see a couple of these players like Gilchrist and all of these youngsters going out on loan. So it's a difficult situation to be in. Chalobah, if hadn't been for injuries, would not have been featured this much. It is because of the injuries that he's getting all these chances. So it's not like that he's proved himself to be this player. He's always been good. But it was because of the injuries that he got. The Chukwuemeka, we forget about. Oguchukwu, we have another defensive midfield. So how do you go about this?
You have to. And
Lonis will be coming back. Angelo and all those people. Omari,
of course.
Hutchinson.
Look, you're gonna have to start recognizing the misfits. Like as Matisse was saying, like, who are the misfits? You mentioned one, Baba, Chilwell. Going back to the Nkunku situation, where we have to understand one of the fundamentals of Pochettino's style is you got to press. You have to be able to press. Now, does Nkunku, is he got the ability to press? Does he have the ability off the ball to track back and be disciplined in certain roles? On the ball, different thing. Off the ball, different thing. This structure that Pochettino has, no one is a luxury player. There is no room for a luxury player here. As much as I like Nkunku and he's a baller, if Nkunku doesn't pull his weight from the off the ball point of view, this structure will collapse. So let's say, for argument's sake, you put Nkunku where Mudryk is playing right now. Let's say, for an argument's sake, that's where we will fit Nkunku. If Nkunku is playing in that role, and for instance, he loses the ball up front in the final third or in the midfield somewhere, and he doesn't track back to cover ground, say Cucurella starts tracking back and covering that left side, but then Nkunku doesn't come internally to put some cover there for midfielders and have a shield in front of the defense, this structure will collapse. And all of a sudden, everyone's gonna start blaming Cucurella again. Everyone will start blaming the midfield again. Everyone will start blaming the defense again. This is why every individual is so crucial in these tactics. The reason why that left side still looks a little bit dodgy is because Mudryk at times is a little bit lazy off the ball. His work rate is not there. But we are getting away at the moment because Cucurella is doing some madness on the left side. He's covering a lot of ground on the left side.
That is something for the manager to figure out, because I feel we cannot keep Nkunku out. He's a player who has
to play.
so much quality. He can change games. Like if you guys remember in the thrashing that we got against Liverpool at Anfield, he produced that moment of magic, which got us that one goal. And he is that player who can do that, because right now, okay, we have players who are doing that. Palmer is doing a madness right now. Madueke has shown some glimpses, a couple of goals he scored. But apart from that, you don't have a player who can week in, week out be the X factor or be the clutch player. That silky forward that everyone hates to come up against. We don't have that. Okay.
This is probably why you'd probably start contemplating maybe having Nicholas Jackson on the left wing. You drop Mudryk, you have Jackson to produce that work rate, and you start putting Nkunku up front. But that's not the end of it. Nkunku playing up front, Jackson does a lot of hard work off the ball, man. Jackson
occupies two center backs. Occupies two center backs.
Not just occupies, it's his movements. It's the way he's always dropping in, collecting the ball. There's a lot that Nicholas Jackson still needs to improve, no doubts about that. But Nkunku has to do that. I believe he can. I believe he's got the ability to do that. We've seen it in the preseason. Nkunku give and go, touch and go. I think he's done that with Nicholas Jackson. One touch pass and he goes, and then what was it, Cassidy? Where he did the one touch pass and then Cassidy puts the ball through, and then Nkunku was through. So look, it can be done.
It's really hard to play up front, I must say, though. It's like back to goal,
of course,
holding up the ball and laying it off to others is really difficult, especially in the Premier League. Especially in the Premier League, where it's really physical, as many strikers as complained from Bundesliga that have come here. So I never envisioned Nkunku as a striker for us. I envisioned Nkunku as a inside 10.
Yeah,
and that's why this version of the back three is not the version of the back three that I thought was the best for Nkunku. The version of the back three was Tuchel's back three with the wing backs and the inside 10s. And because then you allow for a back five off the ball with the wing backs.
Like Nkunku, where Werner was playing. Right?
Yes. So then Nkunku,
but Werner also used to do a lot of off the ball work. Bro.
Yeah, him and where Werner was. Yeah, but the thing is, I think in modern football, you're not really going to get a team that doesn't have everybody doing something off the ball. There's no free roles anymore. That number 10, Ozil, James Rodriguez position is dead. The only thing with Nkunku is when he gets back to fitness, does he have the durability and does he trust himself enough to be able to commit to the press and to commit to the workload that Poch is going to, or whoever the manager is going to need from him? Because I think all managers are going to demand some sort of workload. So that's my biggest concern for not only Nkunku, but Carney Chukwuemeka and anybody who's playing, especially in the forward roles where the press is, you're intense, your intensity is there. Anybody who's been out repeatedly with injury, can they get back to a level of their fitness where they are able to give off the ball the way that this manager is probably going to need them to do? That's what's going to be the make or break for them. I have no doubt about them on the ball. Carney Chukwuemeka and Nkunku on the ball is fantastic to watch. It's great. It's just whether they can commit off the ball, because the manager keeps bringing it up. It's true. Like you said, the manager keeps bringing it up. Off the ball, off the ball, off the ball, off the ball. So at some point, whether you like it or not, you have to accept that this sport off the ball it plays a massive part. Plays a massive part. It might not be the most entertaining part of the game, might not be the part that people pay their tickets to come and watch, but it's the part of the game that these players here with the repeated injuries, they're gonna have to be able to get back to that level, or we're gonna have to go in a completely different direction. Reece James was a player I wanted to bring up. Reece James and Gusto. Reece James, I think, is perfect for this, especially if he's playing in Chalobah's position. I think
I was just going to say.
It's tailor-made.
Beautiful. Deep lying playmaker, bro. Deep lying playmaker. Chalobah, look, I don't want to take anything away from Chalobah. That ball was ridiculous from Chalobah. But you can imagine Reece James playing that kind of ball on a regular basis as well. He could deliver crosses from deep. He can take shots from deep. And he doesn't need to go bomb up and down too much. He can actually be lateral. And in fact, he can step into midfield areas at times, which will then add a different dimension to the game where Chalobah, fantastic. But Reece James actually technically so gifted. He could go from RCB and slide into the midfield area. And all of a sudden, we've got another midfielder. Do you know what I mean? So he will take the game. I think, look, if Poch stays, the first evolution is, I think this is what we are seeing. This is the first evolution. And he talks about it. He said it post-match. You can't, in order to sit down, you got to build a chair first. Do you know what I mean? He said, even though he was saying a lot of stupid stuff again, but I think I understood what he was trying to say. It's like I was trying to get the lads to understand. You got to put in the hard work first. If you want to sit down, you got to build a chair first. So this whole Cucurella situation is the lads have finally understood now. They've now understood what needs to happen. They finally built a chair. Now they can sit. I think the evolution from there on will be the Reece James coming in from RCB and producing some masterclass from there. And that will be the next stage because you have to evolve. Soon this structure, this style will be found out. Soon teams will realize exactly how to. I don't know if you guys realized yesterday, as soon as the second half started, West Ham tried to negate that Cucurella situation in midfield. Did you start noticing Cole Palmer dropping into midfield then?
Yeah.
Cole Palmer started getting deeper because Cole Palmer probably got the instructions, or he maybe realized himself. I think it probably was the instructions from Poch that now that they're matching our midfield, we need another man to come in and disrupt them again. So that was the whole beauty of Cole Palmer in the second half, coming in deeper and getting involved in first phase, second phase, and the final phase. And Cole Palmer's able to do that. He can be box to box because he glides. He literally just glides from one end to the other, and it feels like he doesn't even waste any energy out of doing that. So yeah, man.
100%.
Honestly, it's going to look good.
Gusto's another one. I don't know where Chilwell goes here, and I don't really feel like with Chilwell's injuries as well versus the quality he gives us when he's there, which is diminishing since 2021. I'm personally ready to part ways with Chilwell, but I have said on a prediction that I don't actually expect us to part ways, and I don't think we're going to part ways with anyone on that left wing. I've said this before. I think Cucurella, Chilwell, Sterling, and Mudryk are all going to be here next season, and those will be your same four options on that left-hand side because of the wages, the price tags. I don't actually see any of them moving. But if you were to move Chilwell on, Gusto could effectively potentially be your left back in this team. Maybe he inverts similar to a Cancelo did at Manchester City, but he's just better defensively because we have seen Gusto play left back a few times for Chelsea. And I just think he's so intelligent. I think he's able to invert. I think he's able to overlap. I think he could. What we saw Tomiyasu do to us last week, I could see him doing very similar in this position.
100%.
I remember when he followed his pass after playing it off the right, continue to follow his pass to then make a run off the left, receive it back, and then do a cutback for an assist earlier on in the season as well. So I just think he's a very, very, very smart player, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is above Chilwell in the pecking order to play this role that Cucurella played. It wouldn't surprise me that much.
Chilwell, Matisse in this structure, he would be a winger.
Yeah, he'd be a winger. Yeah,
He would
play
not be
Mudryk's position.
He'll be playing Mudryk's position. Now I'm starting to understand why Poch was playing him there, because I don't know whether he was trying to do this structure with Levi Colwill tucking in previously, and it just didn't work out in that way. But he probably envisioned that Chilwell needs to be in this structure, a winger, because he can't invert. Chilwell is not gifted on the ball. Chilwell is gifted on his movements. So if we want to keep him as a winger, Chilwell will have to change his game. He will have to be deemed as a winger. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Next year, Fantasy Premier League, he's a winger.
He has to leave. He has to leave. Then we're not playing Chilwell as a left winger in 2024. It's not happening. It cannot run. The Sassy, I think, is in trouble. I think Disasi's in trouble. He's in big trouble
big
because we keep getting linked to Tosin at Fulham, and I like Tosin. I do like Tosin at Fulham. I think on a free, I think it's very smart business, and I think it's business that you can't afford not to do. Purely because we don't know the financial situation. Obviously, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs right now. Please, can you, kind of think about the footballing side of it as well as the financial side before you start selling certain players, especially if you're keeping Poch. I think it's very unfair on Poch to sell Gallagher. I actually really like what Chalobah is doing recently. I would like us to keep Chalobah, even as a squad player. Both of them, even as squad players, I just want them around. I think it's very important right now with the way that this team has been shifted in the last few years.
Fofana will also be available after the season. Fofana.
Wesley
Fofana. He'll be all.
Well, I think Fofana is so deep into his injury. I don't think any teams will really come in for him, if I'm honest. I think we'll still be with him because no one has seen him in 2 years, really. But I think with how the squad has been reshaped so drastically in the last 2 years, and the lack of, I guess, know-how, experience of playing for this football club, the guys that clearly have, learned that from players that have been here previously, Rudiger's, they've been around the previous players. It's probably important to keep them just so they can just pass on the message a little bit for the next 18 months. And also because they're playing well. But Disasi, I think, listen, people are saying get rid of Fofana. I think Fofana it's one of those ones for me where his quality before the injury was so clear to me. And obviously I know that he may never return to that level. But it's very similar to Reece James, where I'm like, I just want to see one time what he can potentially do. I don't know what he's done. I know Reece James has had surgery, but I just want to see if he can, just one more time, if he can get back. Because if he can, he is a massive needle mover for this team.
Yeah.
Massive needle mover. I don't think people understand just how much of a needle mover Fofana is if he plays to the level that we purchased him for at Leicester before the injury. That guy is such a big shift in this team in terms of the pace, in terms of how good he is at defending 1v1, defending in wide areas. He's good aerially. He is honestly probably a complete defender. If he's fit, if he's at his level. I don't know if he's ever going to get to that level again. So I am taking a bit of a risk, I guess, by saying this, but I think Disasi, we don't really want him defending in wide areas, so he has to be in the middle. He has to be in the middle of a free. But Tosin is very quick, and I also like Anderson at Crystal Palace. I have to add, I like him as well. So I think Disasi, he could be in some trouble if we're playing a high line and we're playing, and we're looking for players also that can play multiple roles in defense.
Yeah,
we now got Cucurella, who's playing left back, but he's also coming into midfield. You just spoke about Reece James playing at right side centre back, coming into midfield. Maybe we might need our centre back to go into wide areas. Maybe we might need you to go out there.
I think someone who is potentially, obviously now Thiago Silva's playing centre back. I think one player that I picture playing as a centre back down the track, who we've obviously mentioned that he's a good rotational piece or someone who can be as a LCB. I think Colwell could seriously play as a centre back. His ball playing ability from the middle should not be disregarded one bit. I know that's a little bit of too many left-footed players. If you also have Buddy Shield, who's a left-footed player on the LCB, Levi Colwell, centre back, who's also a left-footed player. But Levi Colwell's ability on the ball is incredible. Is actually very, very good. So he could be penciled down as someone who could potentially play there. But yeah, going back to the SRC point, definitely in trouble, because if we are asking for Chalobah to stay, he's potentially playing as an RCB / right back. Then you've got Reece James, who's potentially doing the same thing. I would then actually have the backup for all of that as Alfie Gilchrist. I don't need SRC to back all of that up. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want SRC to play centre back because he doesn't have the ball playing ability like the way I want the centre back to have.
You're looking for David Luiz type ball.
Yeah, David Luiz. You got to be as good as a midfielder. Do you know what I mean? You could shift as a defensive midfielder.
There can't be any hint of clumsiness in the middle of the back three.
You cannot. No
I agree.
way.
I agree with you. I think
But
off the ball, we saw against Manchester City when he played there, he was brilliant. He got man the match.
of
He was
course,
heading
of
everything
course.
clear.
Yeah.
He was making blocks. He was celebrating, every single tackle, every single block.
Matisse, low block, he's
low
good.
block. Yeah.
High line, I'm not so sure. Do you know what I mean?
It's just him receiving the ball and being fluid enough to turn quickly, and he just doesn't turn fast, does he? He's a bit stocky.
But Matisse, what you've said is according to if everyone stays fit. You have taken into factor that everyone stays fit. We don't have any injuries, and like our best 11 is always available. And I don't think so that would be the case. So I would rather have players who stay fit, to be honest.
That's why
Because
you bring up the Sassy, because he because he keeps
yeah, availability is an ability, bro. This season, what we'll do with the Fofana turning quickly and Colville having pace and Chalova being there always if they are not available to play only.
Well, the medical team have to be better next year. That's a given. Like
That's a given.
This is the worst year I've ever seen at Chelsea in terms of injuries by far. If they can't keep people fit, then there's a massive cap onto where we're going, even with a system. But yeah, I think I get your point for sure. I don't know what Tosin's injury record is. I think it's pretty good. But
some people have been saying Matisse Tosin, he's got a bit of a bozo gene in him. I don't know. Like, I've only watched Fulham a few times, and I thought he was quite good. But a lot of people that watch Fulham on a regular basis, well, obviously the Fulham fans, they say that he's got a bit of a bozo gene in him. I don't know.
If listen, I haven't seen massive errors from him, to be honest. But if that is the case, then the person that I like is Anderson at Palace a lot. Anderson a lot. I could see Anderson in that middle of the back three, and he'd look very good. very.
He's doing that right now for Oliver Glasner.
Yeah, he is actually.
I think he's centre
doing
back.
That. Yeah, he is.
See why I said Levi Colwell, because they're both left-footed. I think Levi Colwell could do that too. But Anderson's amazing. Anderson's really good.
Yeah. But he is free, so I guess you're weighing it up. We've gone past Lavia, gone past Gusto, Chilwell. Lavia and let's go Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez is the talk of the town right now.
By the way, can I just say something, Matisse? I didn't really like the dig from DR Sports on Enzo. I wanted to quote tweet that, and I know you're associated with DR Sports.
Don't worry about that.
I want you to have a talk to them.
I need
you to talk to them.
I was going to comment. But then I started saying, you know what? I know the social media admin. I'm going to see him in the office today. I'm going to see him in the office today.
Miz wants to talk to him.
I'm going to see him in the office today. So this Enzo Fernandez conversation, right? For a lot. Now, first of all, it's important to premise that if we are inverting the fullback, that's something he can't do. So he either plays where Caicedo plays, and that's a lot of running because Caicedo is playing incredibly well right now off the ball, or he's playing where Gallagher's playing, or where Palmer's playing. But, Palmer's player of the year. So Gallagher. And you're right in Bubba. I don't think, even when he's fully fit, let's just agree that Gallagher has a very special engine. It's not something that's replicated very often. And it's not something that I think Enzo Fernandez should be replicated anyway, because he's just not that type of player. Even without the hernia, even without the injury, I don't even think that is a comparable situation. Like Gallagher's engine is just on another level. It's just as simple as that. So we have to take Enzo for what he is as his own player. Now, I believe he's a baller. I believe if he leaves this club, he only goes to big clubs. I believe he only goes to some of the best teams in Europe. And on the ball, what we saw under Potter and what we've seen at Benfica and for Argentina, is a very special player. Now, how does he get in this setup? I'll be very honest. In this particular setup, I don't know. I think it's very difficult because the whole point of this setup is you are inverting one of the fullbacks. Now, if you don't invert one of the fullbacks and you just play him next to Caicedo, then we're back to doing what we're talking about previously, which is just keep him and Caicedo close in that pivot, and you go down that route. And again, similar to Nkunku, this is why I kind of envisioned him more in the path of Tuchel's back three, which is the back three stationary in defense. The two wing backs are giving cover to the midfield, but also giving cover to the back line. And then him and Caicedo are playing in the pivot together there, because that is very different to what we're doing right now. And it's very similar to what we used to do with Jorginho and Cover, who neither of them were big, strong, physical sixes. And sometimes, of course, yes, they were exposed, but most of the time in that system, very good defensive record in the Premier League when Kante was out injured or whatever, we had the cover with that 5 behind them. And that's more the back 3 that I was thinking of when we're talking about Enzo and Caicedo, Enzo and Nkunku, obviously further forward. So he's one of those players that, away from all the tactics, people are saying, right, just sell him. Well, that's not going to happen. And sorry to burst your bubble, but that's not going to happen. And I don't think it should happen. But if you're asking us, although you can eat Chelsea, who's going to win the battle between manager and player, we already answered this question. I'm going to compare manager who, let's be honest, brilliant win, but really, really rough season. And in a few press conferences now, he has not made his future very clear. He said, listen, it's up to the board whether I get the time or I don't. Now, you all know in the chat, he's got 1 year left on his contract after this season. He signed a 2-year deal with an option of a 3rd. Now, I don't know if you guys would give him a new contract in the chat. I know a lot of people are saying, right, let's keep him. I saw a poll from CFC Daily, about 66% of the fan base saying keep him. I don't hate Poch. I've always wanted Poch to do well. I wanted Poch. So I'm very happy to see him getting some support, I guess, right? But we have to take it with a pinch of salt because it's a little bit reactionary, especially when the previous poll 2 weeks ago was saying 66% of him, or sorry, 83% of the fan base on that poll saying he should leave. But what we can't do is now start to confuse ourselves. This manager is on a 1-year deal effectively in the summer. This player is on an 8-year deal effectively. So there is a big difference here between the 2 deals. And there's a big difference between who's getting paid what in terms of the transfer fee and how much Poch cost, which was nothing. So if we really think the board are going to prioritize the manager over the 115 Rui Costa deadline day player, then you got another thing coming. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you that for free, because the loss on that transfer would be astronomical and it's just not happening. It's not happening. So as I said on the previous episode, he has to find a way to get him. He has to find a middle ground. And I think now a lot of people have determined that Enzo can't run at all because he's been carrying an injury for months and that's all they can remember. So they think he can't run at all. I can tell you now, you don't play for Argentina if you can't run. It's not happening, right?
Yeah.
You're not even South American, I don't think, if you can't run. I don't think that's happening either. So Enzo can surely run. Right? Not to Gallagher's level, but he can surely run. And I don't think he has to run to Gallagher's level because the system is meant to be keeping us compact anyway and meant to be bringing the spaces closer, which it has done. But they have to kind of find a middle ground because people are saying, right, just get rid of everyone he doesn't want and bring in everybody he does. After spending $1 billion? Really? Now we're going to do that? Seems a little bit late for that. You know, after you've spent $1 billion, I'm not really expecting a huge turnover where he can just pick everybody he doesn't like and pick everybody he does and just I don't think we're at that point. I think we're past that point. So and I'll be honest, for someone that actually wanted him in before most of the people that are now saying keep him, I don't think he deserves that level of backing to say, right, we're just going to scrap everything and go completely in your direction. Because are you even an elite manager in the first place? Are you even world class? Can you even get us over the line in finals for trophies? So let's hold on a second. Let's slow down a little bit, right? I'm not trying to reshape the whole club now in the image of one man, and we don't even know if we're giving that man a new contract. Because if I say keep him versus give him a new deal, the polls are going to change drastically, the percentages. Oh, wait, hold on. We can't give him a new deal yet. Just relax. Calm down a second. We don't know what the manager market is going to look like in 2025 when people are going to be wanting Xabi Alonso. So let's just relax ourselves because, no one's taking into account what Enzo Fernandez looks like under Xabi Alonso or under this manager. So let's relax. Let's really slow our horses. Let's really calm shit down right now because this player is signed on for a very long deal. And if you're just going to sell him based upon one season next year and then not renew the manager, in my opinion, if you're selling Enzo Fernandez this summer, if that's your stance, then you better go and give Pochettino a new 4-year deal. 4.
Yeah.
4-year deal to make it 5.
100%.
Because that you've just said that this player that is costing all this money, that has all this quality that now people are forgetting he has, in my opinion, but it is what it is. You're just willing to just dash that out the window for someone that a couple of weeks ago, after a 5-0 loss to Arsenal, you almost wanted to kick him out right then and there at the Emirates. So if that's the case, you've got to show some sort of loyalty and long term to someone. in my opinion. Otherwise, you're just going to regret this in literally like 12 months. So that's a different conversation. But right now, I think people should kind of hold back on the Enzo Fernandez slander and fire until the guy is actually fully fit and not playing with an injury, because playing with a hernia injury is not a joke. And I think people just say, oh, it's an excuse. Oh, you know, it's not. It's actually a very difficult thing to do. And if you haven't played with a hernia injury, it's probably best you don't speak on playing with one. So I'm always going to be saying that this player's quality. I've said that, and I'm going to stick with that. If he leaves, which I don't think he will, but if he ever did, then I wouldn't be surprised that where he goes is going to be a top club, and I think he's going to perform. So that's the Enzo debate right now. How he gets into this specific team, I have no idea, because I'm also a meritocracy, and I'm also on winning games. And right now, I'm not changing Cucurella and Caicedo. I'm leaving them that exactly how it is. That shit is so good to watch, and it's winning football matches. And on the counter press, those two together, they're like little terriers. We were calling them dogs in the chat, like they're little pit bulls. The way and then on top of that, Gallagher and Palmer, who press really well in front of them four in the middle, it's just like a. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Suffocated the living daylights out of West Ham.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, I mean, this is what happens when you buy massive assets for that price before bringing in the manager. You get problems like this because what Poch seemed to be hinting in the presser was, I have to play certain names. I have to play certain names instead of focusing on this and that. And I don't know whether the board and the hierarchy are forcing him to play players.
Of course they are.
And
of course they are.
That's kind of what happened on the Roman at times as well. He would bring in a player like Fernando Torres. When we're thinking, how does that actually work with Drogba? Yeah. Like, hold on a second. This is hilarious. This is brilliant. I love Fernando Torres. How does this actually work? We've got Anelka. Yeah. We have Drogba. We just done a double. We have Maluda. We have Lamp. How is this going to work? Roman's like, I don't give a fuck how it's going to work.
Yeah,
I like Fernando Torres, and you have to like
you play
Fernando
him.
Torres.
You play him. Yeah, you play him.
I like Fernando Torres. You must like Fernando Torres. I like Shevchenko. You like Shevchenko. And this is the problem when we buy before we have the directors that are going to hire the manager that are then going to buy the players. And when we do it the other way around and we do it backwards, we land in situations like this because, like I said, I don't think you can bench Enzo consistently without getting in trouble. But I don't think you can justify just taking Cucurella and Caicedo and saying, fuck that, because it's playing so well. So what do? You pull your hair out and you talk out two sides of your mouth and you end up back in the same situation we were before.
Do you know what actually happened here was Enzo wasn't bought for Poch. Enzo was bought during Potter. And there was a reason why Enzo looked really good under Potter, because Potter knows how to utilize that type of a player in midfield, because he loves that type of a midfielder in build-up. You know, we've seen it in Brighton days, the kind of midfielders he was using to do his build-up over there. The issue happened is, obviously, Potter got sacked, and our sporting directors, they didn't do the research completely on Poch, to the fact that he's not just about developing young players. I think that was the only really big factor that our sporting directors were looking at. Oh, Poch develops young players. No, that's not the only thing. You need to understand what he does. Because if you look at the squad profile prior to Poch coming, Poch is actually a misfit. He's actually a misfit for a lot of these players. Or we can even say a lot of these players are a misfit for him, whichever way you want to say it, right? So I've been saying it. Obviously, Matisse is saying it as well now. If Poch stays, I'm not saying get rid of everyone, but you do need to equip him in order for him to bring us some level of success next season. You do need to equip him with the kind of personalities, the characters that he needs. Now, if you've got an issue where you've signed Enzo for a long-term contract, but you're also keeping Poch next season, as a sporting director or as the owners, you will put the club's future in detriment if you force Poch to utilize Enzo, if he doesn't have a plan yet how to utilize Enzo. All of these things don't just happen overnight. They need to plan this out from now. They need to execute it in the preseason. They need Enzo Fernandez to obviously come back from his injury. And even then, it may not work out. It may be another whole process of 3-4 months of it gelling and then another season gone by. So right now, it seems like there is a winning formula that has been unearthed. You continue with it until it's been stifled. But you need to have another plan behind it as well. You don't wait till it becomes stifled. You have, okay, what's the next evolution of tactics that I can do? But you have to allow Poch to be open and say to you that, look, I don't know how to utilize Enzo because of X, Y, Z. You need a different manager to do that.
He has to work in that left half space that he kept pushing and forcing him into, which is where he kept pushing him to. And he said, I want you to be box to box. I want you to get up here and down there. I want you to score
Gallagher.
goals. Basically, he wants him to become Gallagher. He wants you to get goals and crash the box. And we saw a couple of goals from Enzo. He wants you to be able to play in that left half space, higher up the pitch, but also come back as well. He wants you to be able to be yin and yang with Cucurella. When Cucurella inverts, maybe you go forward. When Cucurella goes left back, you come back. And it's a shuttle bus, effectively.
100%.
That same shuttle bus doesn't exist on Caicedo's side because Palmer doesn't really have to do that because Caicedo is always there. If that's the reason he put him there, then I guess we're starting to piece together the puzzle. I'd love to be able to piece together the puzzle. I don't know how he got to this point. I don't know if it's based upon injuries and he just had nothing else left and he just put that out there, but this is not what he wants to do. That's why we need to see it consecutively over 5 games, which will be the 3 games remaining. Then we get to the end of the season, we have another conversation about it. But I don't know how he got here, if it's injuries or if this is what he wants and he just got lucky with who got injured. I don't know. But if that is what he's trying to piece together, then at least I can understand what he's trying to do now. But it's going to be very interesting to see if he can make it happen and if it's going to actually work when everybody's there. Baba, let me sign you out, brother, because I know you got to go. You got an appointment. Let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure. Great show, man. Great show.
Yeah, man. Great show. I'm happy that we are discussing the tactical conundrums rather than what is going wrong at the club. So that's good for a change. Same as always. Drogbaba. I started my cricket channel as well. Cricket with Baba. If you are interested in cricket, do check that out. Looking forward to the last 3 games and hopefully if we can get that European spot. Will be before I leave. I would like to ask you both: Conference League or no Europe?
I'll take conference. I'm happy with. Look, the team needs more games. The team needs more games. I know Conference League is Mickey Mouse Cup, but the team needs to play more. That's my outlook. That's how I look at it, basically.
Where are you with this, Matisse?
It's tough because initially this competition was the death of me, but I've had a lot of playback call-in shows, and they have kind of convinced me that it's better than nothing. Because I do, me as a fan, I want to watch Chelsea as often as possible. Having that whole week of not watching them is not nice. I don't like it. Now, if I have to watch them against Halifax and Krypton Cones in the Conference League on a Thursday, then I guess I'm gonna have to do it. You know what I mean? And we have a big squad if everybody's fit, so it gives opportunity for maybe an Amari Hutchinson if he doesn't go to Ipswich, because we have to talk about his contract as well. 2025 as a problem. Maybe it gives him the Hudson-Odoi breakout he needs in the Conference League. It just gives him a competition to say, right, that's your guaranteed amount of games. I don't know. All I do know is if we are in that competition and we don't win, oh my heaven on earth. If we are in that competition and we do not win it,
yeah, you got to win
it. My answer, just quickly, sorry, I've rambled, but I don't want it. But if we fall into it, I will embrace it. Once we're in it, we win it. That's my motto. Once we're in it, we'll win it. But until mathematically we can't make Europa has always been the minimum. And one thing I will say with conference, if we do get conference, it's not a good season. I'm not having that. I'm not having that as a good season. But if we get it, we have to win it. We take it. Whatever.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. I'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.
See ya, Baba.
Europa is the minimum. He's asking if we win all our games and we don't get Europa, because that's still a possibility.
Yeah.
What do I feel? And I feel that we've underachieved. I feel we should have beaten Burnley and Sheffield United. and I feel we should be in Europa League. But if we don't make Europa League and we play this great football to the end, then I'm just gonna have to take Conference League. That's what I've said. I'm gonna have to just take it. There's nothing I can do. We actually have no control now, guys, whether we finish in Europa League or not. I hope people know that. If we win all of our games, we still might not get Europa League. Newcastle have to lose in their last 3 games. If Newcastle do not lose in their remaining 3 games, they are going to get 6th. Man United, if they do not lose their last 3 remaining games, we will not finish ahead of them. So this is not in our hands anymore. It's too late. That's why I was so angry after Sheffield, so angry after Burnley, because we had to win those games. If we had won those games, we would be in control of our own destiny and we would be 6th. And this is why I always say the bare minimum should have been 6th, because it's not. Now you see how the team is playing. You couldn't possibly imagine not beating Burnley and relegated Sheffield United playing this football, could you?
Yeah.
That's why I said there's no excuses in those matches, because you couldn't possibly imagine watching us play this football and dare say we can't beat Sheffield United. Imagine saying that after just watching us beat West Ham 5-0. Imagine uttering, we're not sure if we can beat Sheffield United. It's tough. Of course it's not. When there's a system and people are taking chances, it's easy. So we should have made 6th. So if we don't get 6th, that is a regret. It's a regret. We should have been 6th. We could have easily, comfortably been in 6th. And no one can tell me otherwise. However, it's too late now. So we have to move.
Don't worry, Matisse. Next match week, De Zerbi's got something for us, bro. De Zerbi's got something for Newcastle. Roberto De Zerbi, he's Chelsea undercover, bro. Don't worry.
100%. Listen, Newcastle and United play each other, but what we need, let me explain this, because I'm going to do a video on this anyway before we wrap up. We need Crystal Palace to beat Manchester United tonight.
Yeah.
Then we need Manchester United to beat Newcastle.
Yeah.
And that's how we get in front of both of them. If that does not happen...
And we need to win as well.
We also need to win. Very important as well. We need to actually win our games. If it doesn't happen like that, then you need to find a United loss somewhere, because we're level on points right now. You need to find a loss, and you need to find a Newcastle loss. Good luck finding. Those 2 fixtures, in my opinion, are the places that it can happen. I don't think it both happens without those 2 games. Palace is the best team right now to beat United, and Man United is the best team to beat Newcastle. If those 2 results don't come in my opinion, one of them will finish ahead of us, guaranteed. And that's how I see it. There's only 3 games left, people. There's not many games left. So you could try and think of many different other ways, but that is the most realistic way, in my opinion. But yeah, listen, bro. We are gonna wrap, because I gotta go DR, and I gotta cook the social media admin, and then I gotta cook some other people as well. What a result, what a game. Bro, let them know where to find you. Younes will be back on the next episode. I know they've been asking, but yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. What a show.
Oh, man, top show once again. The other side of the coin, very, very close to 33,000. So let's get there. I will actually be doing a watch along for the Man United game. I'm very keen now to keep a tab on their future. I have this quite suspicious that I think Crystal Palace might do a bit of a madness against Man United. I think players like Olise and Eze will do, and even Mateta, to be honest, might actually end up dunking on Man United, and that this will be inadvertently a victory for Chelsea as well. So I want to be there celebrating that moment. And transfer rumors are shaping up thick and fast as well. So we'll be keeping a tab of that. And from here on in, I think it's prudent to do watch-alongs for Man United and Newcastle games. So I think Newcastle's next game is against Brighton. And I always enjoy watching Brighton as well. So there's going to be a lot of stuff happening over the next couple of weeks. Yeah.
There you are.
For sure.
Guys, make sure you check out, subscribe. Super chats. Yes, super chats. Let's do super chats to end the show. Todd Bowie, C-Matt, all is well. We will win the treble soon. Jesus Christ, brother. We won't get Europa League if United win the FA Cup, right? I'm not sure about that, but that could also be a problem as well. So thank you for bringing that up, because I completely forgot. To be honest, I don't think they're going to beat Man City. I'll be honest. So I don't think we have to worry about that.
Yeah. That's a gamble I'm willing to take.
I'm willing to take that gamble. I'm willing to take that gamble too. Pace and power doesn't win trophies. Liverpool tried that and failed in the league. Champions League, Poch won't win anything because of his style. Bang. Okay. The squad is playing well because there is no pressure on them. Most of us have written off the season. Don't be fooled. Soft players and lose a manager. Damn. That's why he wanted them super chats read out. He's like, yo, don't go anywhere. Nkunku is a 10-second striker, left winger, not a striker at all. I agree with you. I'm not even sure about the left winger, to be honest, but I'm definitely agreeing on the striker. If each of you had to pick 3 players to sell from the squad, not players on loan, who would they be? Mine are Sanchez, Sterling, and Disasi. Regardless of who we finish, keep Poch or not, hearing Oblak be available. Thoughts? I'm not sure about Oblak. Give me some time. Let me think about that. Personally, I've got other goalkeepers in my head. Who would you sell, Miz?
From the current squad?
Yeah.
Wow. Not because of like financial fair play or anything. Just purely
who would you sell? Yeah.
Yeah, Desasi would come in as a particular player that I would sell. Ben Chilwell, I will sell. And yeah, do you know what? Maybe Mudryk. I just don't have the patience to just look. He should have already shown us what Madueke is kind of showing us right now. So look, I know it's a bit harsh, but I've been thrown and given that question to answer.
Yeah.
So,
and also that position has got some very talented individuals in world football as well. Apparently Victor Roque could be leaving Barca, as according to his agent. Maybe we'll go back in for him. We used to love.
I rate him a lot, man. I rate him a lot. Who
we finish, where we finish. Yeah. I mean, listen, let's see how the season ends first. Yeah. Maybe we'll have a debrief at the end of the season. But right now, he needs to win his remaining games. Rewatch the game. I can see why teams like he can be very effective. 5 players. If we keep Poch and sell Gallagher, we need Onana. Enzo left 8. I agree with you. If we sell Gallagher, we do and we keep Poch, we do need another space evader, a space destroyer. I don't know what you want to call it, but someone that can cover the ground very, very well. But I would also just say, just don't sell Gallagher. You know, if you're going to keep Poch, just don't sell Gallagher. That's as simple as that, because it's just counterproductive. The guy's already listened to Poch all season. He's already embedded himself with the squad. He's already started to take a little bit of a leadership role. I don't want him to be the captain of the club at this current moment, but he's wearing the armband right now. I would prefer to have about 2-3 other captains as well. So we're not suffering with just lack of leadership, but he's one of the guys that is starting to show leadership. So I don't really know what the point is in shuffling things around for no reason when you can just literally just leave it how it is in regards to him. But yeah, let's wrap up because I got to go. Yeah, been a pleasure. Great episode. And we will be back with Younes another time because he is now coming back home soon. So there we go. Till then, big up your damn selves in a bit, people. Peace. Come on.